Okay, so today we're going to be talking about mental health, since this is mental health awareness month.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we would just kind of talk to you about some of our experiences. So 18% of the Army's population is female, and I learned by just kind of like looking through everything that women, are more likely and more susceptible to have either PTSD, depression, anxieties, and a couple other things, more so than males.
Right.
Never knew that before. Never thought about that before. But today we're going to talk about some of the stigmas that we experience in the Army, active duty, as well as being a veteran. I know for me, I never knew much about mental health until after I came back from my deployment. Right. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, I think during the Army, it was such a negative stigma to go to mental health. Mm-hmm. And you start internalizing things and you don't really want to talk about it. You just push through it. But it comes a time with everything that you have pushed to the back, it's going to come to the front.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it. You can PCS, you can just not deal with certain things or whatever, but eventually you're going to have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. So when do you first kind of recognize that something was going on in terms of mental health with you? Something just like snapped and you said, you know what, I'm feeling this way. This is not how I should be feeling.
When I came back from Afghanistan, I deployed to Somalia, Bosnia, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And when I deployed to Afghanistan, I knew it was time for me to retire because it was just like I was having out of body experiences. And when you are responsible for others, you tend not to give yourself the care that you need because you don't have time to take care of yourself. You need to take care of these soldiers. The mission, and it hurts.
Yes, and then so kind of tell the viewers, why did you deploy to Afghanistan?
Because of her, right? It's a bull crap, but her. We served together as drill sergeants at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I went to Germany. She went to officer cadet school. And from Germany, I came to North Carolina.
Yes.
She actually called me while I was in Germany and said, hey, you coming to my unit. And I'm like, what?
Yes.
So she was told that she was going to deploy with her platoon, but she needed a platoon sergeant, someone to help lead her platoon. And she asked me one day, what did I think about deploying with her? And I'm like, I'm about to retire, not knowing she had already put my name in the box.
Yes, I did.
So I blame her.
Yes, it up over there.
Yes.
Once I found out that I was going, the caliber non-commissioned officers that I want to go with me, she was the only one. So I was just like, it's almost like picking a date. It's like no, hell no, yes. So I was just like, I cannot go. I am not going to go unless I go with Sergeant Gooseby. And that's basically what I said. I want to go with Sergeant Gooseby. And then I asked her afterward, would she deploy with me?
And let me tell you, I was so freaking mad that I could have punched her in her damn throat. But, I digress.
But yeah, I knew that I would need somebody that had way more experience, that was, stern and strong. Not that I wasn't, but just in a different way. And it was like the best decision I ever made in my whole military career. And
she
that's
sacrificed me.
I know, right? And that's why we're here today, like this, like sisters, like
yes,
everything.
We bonded like forever. We did, and once we became friends, we realized that we had so much in common.
Yes.
That it was just like OMG, and had we not deployed together,
we'd never known.
We would have never known. One and two, I don't know if we'd be this tight.
Yeah. And,
so
and we wouldn't realize
that it was time to retire.
No, I mean, but for in terms of mental health was going.
Yes, because Blossom could tell you, actually, anyone that know me, I can go to sleep on a drop of a dime. But once I returned from Afghanistan, I was only getting 2-3 hours of sleep, maybe, and I got angry, and I won't say angry, but I got mean because I wasn't freaking sleeping.
I remember that.
And I woke up one morning about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, okay, something has to give, because I had a good relationship with sleep, and it just wasn't there, and I had to make the decision. Something was going to happen. Something needed to happen, but I didn't know what something was. And I went, we hadn't been too long, came back from Afghanistan, and I went to my well woman appointment. And they give you this questionnaire to fill out. And most of the time, you just check the block, because I don't have time for this. Check the block, boom, right? But this particular day, it was in my head. If not now, when? If not now, when? So when I got this questionnaire, I filled it out honestly. And,
which is not very often that soldiers fill out that
form.
Yes, because you don't know how you feel when you get back until you get kind of settled,
Right. And I filled it out. I was as honest as I could be. And when the doctor, they called me to the back so I could get my well woman exam, the doctor said, "Son Gooseby, are you okay?" And me, I'm fine. He said, "I don't think you are." I'm like, okay. And he said, "Okay, after I finish your examination, can I get you to talk to somebody before you leave?" And me thinking like,
here we go.
I'm like, you know what, sir, whatever. Let's do this exam, talk to whoever, so I can get up out of here. And once he finished my exam, I guess his nurse assistant or whatever came in, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm thinking like, why do y'all keep asking me, "Am I okay?" I am fine, because I really thought I was fine. And I went to talk. The doctor sent me to talk to the I guess the social worker on site, or the psychiatrist. So, and when I got in there, she asked me a question, and literally I just started bawling. And I was like, what the hell going on?
Yeah.
Right? But from that day, I knew something was going on. And I went to her. She made a couple appointments with me, and I went to her. And then she's like, "Well, first, we need to get you some sleep. So, two, I'm going to give you a mild depression." And I'm thinking, I ain't taking this damn medicine. I didn't take this shit before I deployed. I ain't taking it now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And they prescribed me this medication. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But my sleeping wasn't getting any better. My sleeping actually was getting worse. And I just like, what is going on? I mean, the person in my head wouldn't shut up. It was just zzz, all the time. And I'm thinking like, I can't do this. And I took that sleeping pill. And I slept through the night. In the morning that I woke up, I decided to take the antidepressant.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of...
I would say in the middle of the road. Yeah. Keeps you in the middle of the road, yes.
Right. But then, it's such a stigma, negative stigma for Black women or Black people in general to go to counseling. And I started going to counseling. And at first, I was like, I am not about to do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I am not, because you feel so vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I ain't doing this, But this, I think she was a Navy doctor or a Navy social worker. And like the first couple of times, I'm like, I am not doing this. But that third time, I just told myself, if not now, when? Mm-hmm. When am I going to put this stuff on the table? And I decided, like, okay, they want me to have an appointment with them. I'm going to give it to her. And I just decided at that point that I had held on to so much stuff for so long. Mm-hmm. It was time for me to put it on the table. And I would say, if you decide to go into counseling, you have to make the decision. Are you going to put it on the table or not? Right? And you will become vulnerable, but then you start.
And I would say, not to mention, okay, this was like after you deployed to Afghanistan. She deployed to...
Yeah, I did too.
You did where?
Somalia.
So as a young woman,
23.
So it's no time to trauma or the issues where you find yourself in counseling, and a lot of people think if something happened right then and there, you're gonna be in counseling. Mm-hmm. No, because that was like 23. Here it is, you're in your 40s, and that's when it just kind of like
click. And I would say, unfortunately, I did 2 deployments in 3 years, because I went to Iraq in 2009. I came back in 2010. Mm-hmm. I PCS to Fort Bragg in 2011. Mm-hmm. And by 2012, I was in Afghanistan. So I didn't have time to really process 2 deployments. Yeah, 2 deployments in 3 years. Yeah. That's too much.
Because even, just think about this. While you going to do this as a leader, you have soldiers. You have soldiers that you're not just responsible for them from 9 to 5. You're kind of somewhat responsible 24/7. Not only your own family, your own daughter, and all this is going on, and you're professional, because this is a livelihood. This is your life, but it's also your profession. Mm-hmm. So as a professional, we all understand if you're professional, you have to stay up with the education of what's going on. Mm-hmm. You have promotion, you have all these things, evaluation that you have to deal with on top of everything, even while you're deployed. Because a lot of people think where you deployed, you just, everything else stop. It doesn't.
It doesn't. Right. So at what point did you know you needed to go to counseling?
For me, is when I came back from my last deployment. Now, granted, I have deployed almost 5 times prior to that. And I came back, and it was a movie, I think it was called Sniper, with Mark Wahlberg. My husband and I went to the movie theater, and I was in there, and they had a scene where it was a lot of artillery and things going off. And I just immediately freaked. It's almost like I had a panic attack just sitting there hearing that, where I had to leave. I left the movie theater, that particular movie, and I stood out there and I was kind of getting myself together. Then I couldn't even bring myself to go back in. Mm-hmm. I went to another theater, in the same theater, another screen, and it was a kiddies movie. It was a children's movie.
And it made you feel better.
As I sat there, my heart rate and everything kind of slowly, gone down. And it was just like, and I was like, WTF? What just happened? And then from there, on top of a couple other things, like, while I was living by myself, it was just like, you know how some people, they lock the door? I would lock my bedroom door. It was just like, and I couldn't sleep. That's something that's ongoing with me. If I got 3 hours straight, that was a good night. You hear everything. You hear the cars that go by. It's just like you're constantly at alert. And that's what, when, my doctor said, you're on hyper alert. You're just, anxiety. Just, it looks like it's everything at one time.
Yeah. You become so, I don't even know the word for it. But you come so consumed, then you're like, okay, I'm in this movie theater. Where's the exits?
Yes.
Right?
You're hyper alert. Right. You need to, like, how many people in here? Where's the exit? Where's the front door?
How many people to my left, to the right? How many behind me?
All the while, I'm thinking, especially on active duty, I don't want anybody to know that I am seeing a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Because as a leader, especially as a senior leader, they're going to look at you funny. They're going to give you that side eye. When you have to leave and you got to, like, I got to go to, have a doctor's appointment. Soon people start asking a little more questions and, and it's almost like you got a dirty secret.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but now, because of veteran suicide, I guess there's like 22 veterans a month commit suicide. So it's not that much of a negative stigma now.
As veterans, yeah.
As veterans, or even in the military.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I started my counseling prior to my retirement. However, naively, I thought once I left the Army, all those stresses goes away.
Yeah.
My daughter graduated from college before before I retired and everything. So I'm thinking, okay, now.
It's almost like we think it's a switch.
Right. So now I'm coming home. I'm retired, right? I don't have a job. I'm retired. My daughter is doing her thing. I don't have anything else to worry about but me, and now going to do me. That is so naive, because all the crap that I went through for the last 24 years is still there. The things that I experienced prior to joining the Army, it's still the stuff. It does not go away. No. I was drowning because, one, coming from the military, I spent 24 years in the Army. And coming back into a civilian sector, it's like putting a square inside of a circle. These people do not understand, right? And now, I'm like, I was a true civilian before I joined the military. Now, I had to learn how to be a civilian again, right? And it's just like, it's just a VA in Atlanta, and I got me some help. I got me some help. And, side note, you will always hear something negative about the VA treatment of veterans and all of that. But Atlanta VA has been wonders. My very first therapist told me that I had an internal file cabinet, and we need to, one by one, cut the tape off a drawer, pull that drawer out, empty it, and then go to the next one. But
while you're active, while you're in, sometimes you don't have that time to go through each file. No, because it takes hard. A lot of time and energy to deal with those. So it's kind of like compartmentalizing.
Yes,
and as women, we compartmentalize, from my experience and from talking to some women, we compartmentalize a lot of things, because as a woman in the Army, your responsibilities, if you got family, if you got, children, you got a spouse or whatever, it just doesn't stop when you come home.
It doesn't.
Or when you go to work.
And then when you look at African American women, we've been taught from childhood, you got this, you take care of this, you're strong, you this and this and this. Please stop telling our young women that you got it because you're strong. We need to learn how to be vulnerable.
It's okay if all the time.
If we continue to take care of everyone, who take care of us?
Yes.
We need to be allowed to become vulnerable. Why do you have to be strong all the time? Why do you have to be the responsible one all the time? Sometimes we need to just say, I'm just going to sit here and scratch my ass and do not a damn thing. and I come home.
Self-care is again. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes. I'm
going to leave at the link below some information for Veterans Crisis Line and for just the regular mental health crisis line. Again, nobody is bigger than getting help. Like it's okay if you need help. All that we've gone through, we've always been kind of in our career being responsible for other people. So it was kind of difficult for us to ask for help. But it came to a point where we needed help. And I'm very, very thankful for the services that they have. Every socialization or every system within the organizations they're never flawless. But I'm thankful for the services that they have where we can, talk to therapists, psychiatrists, or counselors, talk about our experience. And honestly, that is one reason why we're doing this, because this is therapy for us.
Yes.
To be able to talk, because I don't think people know our story as Black women of color, mothers, sisters that spend 20 plus years in the military, kind of navigating our way through trying to raise our kids, trying to have family, trying to figure out what we want in life. And we're doing all this while being responsible for other humans and their families and working for one mission. So that's a lot. So this right here actually just helps us. It's kind of like a type of our therapy.
It really is. And find something. I would just say find something that you're good at, because I bake, and baking is therapeutic for me because I don't think about anything. I'm getting, I want my cupcakes or my cake, my cheesecake. She loved my cheesecake to taste the very best, right? So when I bake, I escape reality because I'm putting everything in my baking. Or I read. And I'm so silly. If I read a book, I can stay up all night. If I turn on the TV, I go to sleep. Right? But you have to find something that you're passionate about or something that you like. And it works. Like,
And this is something that I actually forgot about. We were supposed to kind of briefly talk about it. That I was, just kind of like in the social media world. There was something about cancel culture and Chrissy Teigen, because something that she did years ago, and I understand it's a long time ago, but the mere fact that for any reason you would tell somebody to go hurt yourself, that is so awful. However, when you learn, life is a journey, so hopefully you learn that things like that can kill and harm people. And why would you ever want to?
You can't take it back. You cannot take it back.
Once you see it, once you
put it out there, it's gone. You look, this just something funny, because we are who we are. One of my soldiers, when we was deployed, I won't go into the details of his issue, right? But I told him to stop trying to save a hoe. Give up his save a hoe card or whatever. And Blossom said, "Girl, you going to jail."
We going to jail.
We going to jail, right?
Certain Gooseby, it was no filter. When it came to her soldiers, she gave it to them as raw as possible. But you know what? That was just all love. And they realized that because it takes a lot of love to tell somebody the hard truth. Like,
yes.
Get your head out of your behind. Yes. You are, so we needed that because, again, our soldiers, a lot of them were younger. They were young and they
younger
were
than our kids.
Yes, and they were trying to figure their way out. So they needed Sergeant Gooseby because at that time I would have been like, baby, it's gonna be okay. But Sergeant Gooseby was like, you know what? You need to get your 3 points of contact out of your behind. One of those things. So it's just, I know social media put a lot of stuff out there that people said, but also remember that we evolve. We don't come in this world perfect.
Yes. If you're the same person as you was yesterday, you got a problem because we should always should strive to be better than we were yesterday. Yes. We talk all the time, and the only person we're in competition with is the person that we were yesterday.
Yes. And on the last note, I remember as a kid, they used to say, sticks and stones may break our bones, but names or words would never hurt you. And that was something that we like, okay, you can say what you want to, but today, words do hurt.
And you can't take it back. Once it's out there, you can't take it back.
So just be kind with your words. Be kind, to the people that's around you. And we just thank you again for coming out and listening to Fatigue Table Talk. You have Blossom here and
Nina.
Peace.